All right, guys, welcome back. This is Kamisha Reviews, the queen of all the things reality TV, comedy, celebrities, and more. Let's talk about it. Now, first of all, before I even get started, let me not say your name wrong because in the beginning of the special, that was a big point. So, Padres, is that correct? Ratliff, I'm from Louisiana, so when I saw your name, I was like, wait a minute, is it French or can you tell about your name? Perez? Is it Perez? Can you tell
It's
about
Paris.
Paris? Oh, it's very
Yeah,
nice. Can you tell
Paris
me
is an
what's
accent over
what's
the E.
okay, got you. What's the original? I mean, what's the origin of that name? Is there anything behind their story or anything like that, or just that's just your mom decides to name you that?
It's just it's just made up, to be honest with you.
Oh wow!
That's
No, I
it.
love that. I love
I
that.
think I'm the
Seriously,
only one. I think.
that's actually cool. That means when it's time for you to have your, you'll be the second junior. You'll be like, hey, we the only ones in the world.
When I
Oh
Google
Lord.
my name, only I come up and like
Mhm.
some type of Indian dish.
Oh shit. Oh my God. Okay. Well, we're going to ignore the Indian dish. And I kind of love that for you, honestly, that's the only thing come up with your name. It's hard. My name is Kamisha Review. There's nobody with my name. Trust me. So when I put my name up in Google, all you find is Kamisha Review. Thank God. All right. So first I want you to tell me how you actually got into, comedy. Cause I think that this is a genre that people don't just jump in it or, really look to it. I feel like from people I've interviewed and talked to that people in comedy go through a lot, just period. And then they put it on the stage and make us laugh. It's always the big story I feel like behind this. Why I really got into talking to comedians. So can you tell me your origin story, King?
Um, Basically, people always told me that I was funny. So it was 2012, I think, because I had just heard about the Laugh Factory.
Okay.
So I just looked it up online, and people just kept saying like you should try stand up. So I went there. I did, I think, 3 minutes. Yeah, it was 2012. I did 3 minutes, and it sucked.
Mm,
Uh, but I kept going back.
okay. Kept pushing, kept getting through it. But it's hard, isn't it, though, to be a comedian because I don't think people realize that y'all have a lot of no's and a lot of I ain't gonna say booze, that's old school, but you know what I'm saying. I say booze equated to no's, negativity. Y'all go through a lot, and sometimes comedians want to quit. Almost every comedian I've ever talked to said they wanted to quit that first year. So was that a same situation for you as well when you first got started? That first year was it rough?
Um, it was a little bit because it's real hard to craft a joke.
Mm,
And it's a difference between because see a lot of people get it confused. It's a lot of people who are silly, and
okay.
then there's people who are funny. So it's a difference between
Mm,
being silly and funny. And I always just tried to focus on the funny aspect of it. Um, but see, the thing about it is, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just certain type of comedy I don't like.
okay.
Um, so I'm trying to. I'm not trying to be philosophical, but I'm trying to. Every
No,
time I get on
no.
stage,
Break it down, baby. I feel it's different. Okay, this is the thing about for me when I look at it. There's different comedies. I know that. When I grew up, I'm 48. I'm at a certain age. There was certain comedy, same stick, same almost to be honest, same to a point.
yeah.
And as I've gotten older, the new kids in the block was like, look, we're gonna change it up. You got the Instagram comedians. You got people who never actually did a tour, and say they're a comedian. There's a lot of you're right. There's a lot of different, whatever. So the new people changing the game. How do you feel about that? I mean, I know you're younger than me, but you've been in the game for a bit. How do you feel about the new things going on with the I call them Instagram comedians?
Well, you remember like the term standing on your soapbox.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I've heard somebody say, I can't remember who said it, but it was a comedian. He said that comedians are the last truth tellers. And
Mm,
the truth is one thing that a lot of people run from.
okay.
So, being a comedian, you standing on a stage, you don't got no beat behind you. It's just
Mm,
literally just you, and you trying to command a room to listen to what you say. So, I think sometimes when you do comedy, it has to have some type of uh, purpose because it really can be life changing. And with these new guys, it's not a lot of substance to it. When you talk about Instagram comedians,
right.
per se,
Hmm.
it's not a lot of substance to it, and I think it is a little damaging to the culture because a lot of people rely on us to say the things that they don't feel like they are capable of saying out loud because most
Okay.
people never had a microphone in their hand to be able to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
public speaking is one of the hardest things to do. So, um, I mean, we can get messy if you want to. I
Hey,
mean, it,
I don't have no issue with. So okay, so this I'm gonna get to that point. I tried to be cute in the beginning. So this is what what I want to also ask you about because it seems like that people were lost in space that thought that no comedians have beef, and I think it's so ignorant. I'm just gonna be honest and disrespectful
yeah,
to the comedy culture to sit there and think that Cat Williams gets up here and speaks on Shannon Sharp's show, and then
yeah,
y'all are like, oh my god. So comedians go through the comedian people like y'all stupid. Y'all really
right,
thought that I really thought that was the most dumbest thing that when that came out, I thought it was a good interview, but it
yeah,
was the commentary and responses after the fact that tripped me out that comedians coming out saying, bro, y'all really thought we weren't arguing? Because we weren't doing it on live like for y'all or, on the TV screen. Y'all didn't know we were beefing. So talk to me about that because I watched Corey Hogan, as you stated, before we talk behind the scenes, Corey Holcomb is one of my favorite comedians, to be honest, and I feel like he's
yeah,
underrated a lot. Okay, and he's
yeah.
got a big platform, and we all watch him da da da. But he gets a lot of flack. He's always in beef with somebody. He keeps it real all the time, and so I'm not sure that's the reason why. But he's always in beef. And when Cat Williams thing came out, we found out so many other beefs that came out behind it. So talk about that piece. Have you had any beefs? And then
Well,
talk about
well,
the
let's
whole thing as a
say that
whole.
the reason I've come across you was because of the Corey Holcomb show. I was
Right,
listening
right,
to
right.
it
Talk about
as background noise, and I heard Darlene meant this was recently. This was
it.
on a recent episode. I was
Okay,
listening
okay.
to it, and then I heard your name, and it made me want to get more information to find out. And I see you really do your due diligence. So I was like,
I
yeah, she's
do.
a she's a very good
Thank you.
interviewer, and I
Thank
can
you.
tell that you love the comedy culture.
I do. I do.
I
I
mean,
do.
as far as like, well, being funny is subjective.
Okay. Okay.
It's a lot of like for me. I'm a black comedian, but my favorite comedian is Joan Rivers. That's
I
why
saw
she
your
was on
shirt.
my.
I
Yeah,
saw
she
it.
was
I
on my
figured
shirt.
that. And she's
So
classic. Very smart. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, so I got like a different Mount Rushmore comedians. I
Ah.
like Joan
Okay.
Rivers. I like Dave Chappelle. I like
hmm
Patrice O'Neal. I
Okay.
like and then it gets white. I like Jim Gaffigan. I like Louis C.K. Um,
Very hilarious.
yeah,
Very
and
hilarious.
guys like that.
Okay,
As
nothing
far as
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the white. Let me say this. I grew up in the military, so
yeah,
that means I grew up with white people. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So when you say
exactly.
that, I'm like, you don't know it right here. When Robin get Robert. Oh my God, why can't I think of his man's name?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, one of my favorite comedians, and he had
Yeah,
a torture. He had again another comedian who was very smart, very funny, but again
yeah,
outside of that had a tortured life.
yeah.
Very very funny comedian, and a lot of black artists follow behind him. So to me, I don't understand why people can't mention the white comedians like it's some kind of taboo thing. We
Yeah,
listen to both.
exactly, exactly. There's a lot of them that's funny. There's a lot of them that's not, but it's a lot of them that
True,
are
true.
funny. For Bill Burr, he's one of my favorite, and he
Okay.
does he's capable of doing black rooms. So
He is correct.
yeah,
Correct. See, you're smart. You're smart. So you're. I mean, I want you to.
I
I want you to.
love comedy.
I want to get into a little bit of the mess. So I know that, like I said, I mentioned Corey Hogan. Too. I mean, you already know that Corey Hogan has a lot of beef this past year, right?
Yeah,
Especially after
yeah,
Cat
yeah.
Williams. So, in your opinion, behind the scenes, do people look at a Corey Holcomb, a comedian like him, as he did not that he failed? Because some people are dragging him, and I don't get it. He's very talented. But because he's not on TV like everybody else, we're not sacrificing his soul. You understand what I'm saying? To do certain things, they're doubting him. What is your opinion about that and other comedians? I'm just curious.
Corey, he's one of the greatest. He's almost like an anomaly, because he
Mm,
has a cult like following,
yes,
and
yes, it does.
basically what he preaches is, I mean, he doesn't really need Hollywood. He would like Hollywood, but
100%.
um, Hollywood will only bring the money, and
Mm,
of course more eyes. But I mean, he has it. You have to have a taste for Corey Holcomb type comedy.
okay.
And so it's not gonna appeal to everybody. It's failure, no. I mean, failure is subjective. He seems very happy and content with what he has to me.
Mm, very much so. But I'm saying the people outside that you look at some of the videos people make about him, and even the little doctor lady or whatever, they act
Yeah,
like he's failed, and I don't understand that. So I was curious. So about other beef, as far as other comedians, how do you feel about that? You know, not being involved with it, but of course watching your fellow
yeah.
comedians beef.
I mean, the only thing is in comedy, you can't really talk about. It's like against the rules to critique somebody's comedy. It's like an unwritten rule. Like you critiquing somebody's comedy. Um, I don't really know how to explain it, but okay. For example, um, just hilarious. I know you was talking about internet comedians.
Hmm.
Now, before just hilarious, this is inside information, right? Before just
Okay.
hilarious got famous, I messaged her on it was an email that I sent her, and
Okay.
I had offered to write some jokes for her. I have
Hmm.
this proof in my phone because
Mm.
she was out here telling other people's jokes. And I saw the trajectory that she would have, that she would, be kind of famous or something like that.
Right.
So I
Okay.
offered to write her some jokes, and she um, didn't want them. she
She did
didn't.
not want to.
She did not want them. And then you're
Mm.
talking about Corey Hogelman. He has a slight beef with her because I saw her stand up comedy. It's not for me.
Okay.
Um, and
You be
I do
honest.
think that she could benefit from a writer. But I
And
did
she
I
told you
did try
no.
to
That's
write.
interesting. Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
I
mm.
tried to write for Jess Hilarious. She didn't want it.
Oh
So
wow. Does she
you
reply? Was it what? Was it one of those? The her people replied and
no,
said,
it was. This is before she had people.
"Oh
This was her.
wow.
This was Jessica Moore, whatever her name is. It was her.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit, and she didn't want it.
Mm, damn, I got to never see. I'm sorry. You should have told me that. I got to see the receipt. I may have to. I
I
may have
can
to
send
post.
you the screenshots. I have
Please
this.
send me. I need that. If you know,
I
if
have
you
the
know my channel, do
screenshots.
you
I'm
know
not
that I
making
want
this
the
up.
receipt? I know.
This
I
is
believe you.
before Breakfast Club. This is before Wildin' Out. This is before all of
Oh
this. I
wow.
tried to help this lady out with some jokes. I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I'm telling now. I'm talking about I wasn't gonna tell. I was gonna be a little ghostwriter for. I tried, but I
Right.
mean, it is what it is.
And then when everybody's saying that that her goes to the comedy show is not funny. I'm just this is what they're saying. And the
Yeah.
fact that you have this, like, hey, I try to reach out to you, that is so interesting. I have to have the receipt, please, because it might get
Yeah,
posted
yeah, I got you. Because what it was, what I seen was she was doing a Dave Chappelle joke, and it was a popular Dave Chappelle joke.
okay.
Hey baby, that joke.
Mm-hmm.
He
Ah,
saw
yeah,
a
yeah,
baby on the corner.
yes, yes,
She
yes. I love that
did that.
joke.
She did that joke like it was hers. And when I
Oh
seen it, I was like, oh
wow.
man, that's kind of messed up. So I reached out to her, and she didn't want it.
Oh my
But yeah,
God. So she steals well, I'm sorry. You're saying she
this
stole
this was
jokes.
years ago.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know what
okay.
she does now.
Right. Because I know that's also a thing that the comedians talk about, that they steal jokes from each other.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I mean, obviously you don't like it for what you're saying, but to go further, how do you feel?
It's common practice. I mean, especially like when you in the open mic circuit, some people try to remix a joke that you've told, but certain jokes got certain essence behind it where you can't really steal it to make it sound good. But it happens all the time where comedians steal jokes, and I think because you can't copyright it, there's no Better Business
Oh
Bureau.
wow.
Who do you call? you know, so
Interesting.
yeah, so it's just a thing you gotta hand to hand combat is the only way to combat joke thievery.
Not hand to hand combat. Okay,
That's the
so
only way.
kidding. Spinach jam, okay? So I'm sorry. So honestly, with the stealing of the jokes, it's very disrespectful. From everyone I've talked to over whatever, it's just really rude to me. And it's like you gotta be really bold to literally do that. I really don't understand how you can sit there and do it knowing that someone can see you and get mad. So have you ever had to confront anybody for stealing your jokes?
No, there was a I did hear somebody stole one of my jokes. On my first comedy special. I did this Smokey the Bear joke about white women crossing the street.
Mhm.
Well, no, me crossing the street when I see white women. and and it was only you can prevent racism. It was a joke, something like that. And I did hear people telling me that there was a comedian doing that, a variation of that joke. I have heard that before.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And but what did you do about it, or did you do nothing about it? Just
Nothing.
let it. Okay.
I mean, I did
You just
nothing.
let it
I
go.
did nothing.
You just let it go.
Yeah, just let it go.
All right.
That's how I
Wow.
handled that.
That's, I mean, well, like I said, there's nothing wrong with you handling things that way. Listening to your, even with your presentation I watched yesterday, you are, I feel like a mixture of old school and some new school. And you're also very courageous. Because when I listen with intention. When you gave the joke about how you didn't know the person was a pre-op, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, post-op, I'm sorry. I was
post op.
like, I said, for the post-op, I said, this dude is very courageous. Like, no one is doing a joke. Like I had to rewind. I said, "Wait a minute." So I need to know what made you feel so courageous to even say this because straight up and down, nobody does that. Now, black man,
That,
now you have no
that's
white
a
man.
that's a true story. I delve in prostitution sometimes, and what happens was that was true. I thought it was a woman. And I had a Three Little Bears moment when I was
I
with
threw
this
the.
woman. It was, oh my God, what big hands she has. Oh my
Oh my
God, what
god.
big throat she has. What's what size are your feet? But I didn't stop.
Oh my god. Mhm.
I didn't stop. I had already paid my money. So
Hey,
I needed a receipt.
well, this is the thing about it. In my opinion, I'm going to tell you because that didn't even bother me. In my opinion, I said that man's very courageous, but it's also truth telling because this happens every day. Nobody wants to talk about it. So
Yeah,
your kind of comedy is going to make conversations happen after the show. There are certain comedians that can do a great show and like, oh my god, that was funny, da, da, da," and you don't talk about it anymore. Your
yeah.
comedy is the kind of comedy where we're gonna laugh while we're there, but we're gonna be like, damn. Hey, you
I
remember when he said
appreciate
that
that.
line? That's the kind of comment that you have because I've been talking about this since yesterday. So you know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying? When I
appreciate
when I,
that.
when I review and look at things, I want to really, and that's what I feel like. Your comedy is you kind of give me a mixture of Chris Rock, because Chris Rock is not the same kind of comedian like everyone else. He's very
Yeah,
smart. That man used to read newspaper before he would go on the freaking stage. So he like to use politics and everything else. You mixture of just of all different things. You got the little ghetto Kool-Aid moments, yes. But then you got the serious moment that's like, oh shit, he just took me to another level. That's how I felt watching your show yesterday. So
you're going to make me cry. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to break it down like that. I've watched comedian for a long time, and I could just you are a mixture of different. I can say the old school and the new. You're like the perfect version of this generation. What I'm saying coming
I
up because
appreciate that.
the stuff you're talking about, what men go through in 2024, 2025, people still doing a joke about what men did 20 years ago. They're not gonna
Yeah,
hit the same. Let's be real. They're gonna be like,
yeah,
wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Who did that? I'm 20. I don't know anything about that. But Joe, you're talking about, people could actually say, "Oh yeah, shit, man, that happened to me." You know what I'm saying? And be cool about
Exactly.
it. So
I
I wanted to give you,
appreciate
I
that.
wanted to give you flowers on that because it was very funny, and you tripped me out when you came out with the whole thing with your name. So do you have a problem with your name? Because I have a problem with mine. My name is Kamisha. I get called Keisha. I get called Keisha. And there's not even a K in my name. So I can't imagine what you go through with your name. And I struggle with your name. And that's why I didn't want to say it. Because I didn't want to say it wrong. I can't stand people doing my name like that. So
Listen, I have
has it
a
been a life struggle?
I have an auntie that died recently. She
Oh, I'm
called
so
me
sorry about that.
Paris. It's fine. Good
Mhm.
riddance. I'm lying, but I'm serious.
I
I got
know.
an auntie. I got an auntie that died not too long. She called me Paris my
Oh, wow.
entire. I think she was there when I was born. Like she
No,
called me
that's a
Paris
part of the naming ceremony. Still get it wrong. I
and
can't.
still get it wrong. So I'm used to people. Sometimes I don't even correct people.
Oh
Have you
my
ever been through
God. Yes, yes. Keisha, Keisha, can you come? You know about me, right? Okay, I'm coming.
that?
You can use that.
People call me all type of
No,
stuff.
black women's names. You need to see. You need to get into a name. Really, a name thing for you would be a perfect segue for you because you do have a name that probably when you was a kid and they were trying to call your name at the front of the desk, you was like, wait, are they calling my name or over the intercom? If you had my name, my last name was unique, and it never was pronounced correctly. So sometimes I would get up. I'm like, well, are they calling me to the office? So I can't imagine you
You
went
ever had
to.
somebody change your name completely? Like you look like a Tony. I'm just gonna call you Tony.
Yes, yes, because I can't say your name. Ignorance. I swear to God. I can't say. Can I just call you Kiki? What? My name
Exactly.
is Kamisha. There's nothing Kiki in my. You know what, bro? Let's just, don't do that. We do done. Can I call you the man with the brown pants? Oh, okay. I can't. Gotcha. My name's Kamisha. Thank you. Like,
Because that's what happened. Like a lady
oh God.
introduced me on the special. She introduced me on the special, but she didn't really say it right. So then it
Mhm.
was kind of like I cut that part out. You know what I mean? Then it's
Right.
like, okay, let's do this the correct way. So that's how that transpired in the beginning.
Ah, I understood. I understood. That was like the way you came out on stage. I was dying. I was like, bro, what's up with this intro? Like, but I get it. Now that you're saying that, and I hear your name. I actually understood it through the whole thing. I said, I get it. I might even start doing that because I have to always say my name more than one time. But even you hear me say it in my introduction, I have to say it because no one ever pronounced it correctly. It's really pronounced Kamishia. Let me be honest with you.
There we go. Because see, when I heard Darlene say it, and at first I tried to just type it in to try to. It took me 5 minutes to find you. I
Oh
didn't know that
wow.
that pesky E was in there after that M.
Yes.
That's what was getting
Yes.
me.
Because people say Misha, they just go Mesha, but my
Yes.
dad name is Kamisha, and so
Yeah.
that it's a whole thing. But yeah, look, the thing about it is, much respect to you for you. You told me that you heard that on that show and how you found me.
Yeah.
It touched me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it did because for somebody to find me without me having to reach out to them, you understand what I'm saying? For you
Yeah.
to hear it on that YouTube that I'm always on, not always on, but listening to it, it was pretty awesome. So I always thought this was meant for us to have this conversation, and for
Yeah.
me to see your show and to support
Yeah.
you going forward.
I really
So
appreciate that.
yes, yes, yes. So what do you got coming up in your comedy career going on right now? You booked? What's going on?
Uh, I got a show coming up in February because I had stopped doing comedy for a little while.
Okay.
Because of course you're saying I had got shot, so
Yes.
I
Yes.
had started doing comedy just a little bit, and right when I got shot, I had 10 minutes. Like
Oh
I had a
wow.
10 minute set,
Mm.
and I had a show 6 days later after that.
Oh
And
wow.
I still went to that show.
Mm.
My face was bleeding still. I was still bleeding down my throat.
Wow.
I got pictures from that too.
That is
I looked
crazy.
crazy, but I still went and did the show because I was booked. Uh, and then
I need
after
a
that,
picture of
that's when
that. I'm
I
sorry.
started putting together an hour after that.
So tell me about this unfortunate situation that happened to you. How, I mean, for the audience to hear, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just awful. Can give me well, if you're comfortable talking about it?
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I don't
okay,
care.
okay.
The short end of the story is
Hmm.
I was at a gas station. I had an altercation with an individual, and I'm old, oldish.
I'm
So
oldest
I
too.
think like after you beat somebody's ass, it's over, But
Oh wow.
it's not over in 2024, 2025. It's not over.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
you just think like, okay, it's done. But no, he ran to his car. He got a pistol. It was a 45 caliber pistol, and he shot at me close range, 8 shots,
Oh my
and
God.
I I dodged them somehow, and
Hmm.
but one of them got me in my face, and it went through my cheek, and it literally came out the corner of my eye. It hit
Oh
me in
my
the only
God.
place it could have hit me in the face where I'm still uh, active and mobile.
Right, right. That's
The
scary. Oh
only
my
place it could have
God.
hit me was right there where I would have been okay. Literally.
Yeah. Right. Because I mean, you have to the tools you need. You don't want to mess up any of that. I understand that, but
Yeah.
man, that's some scary stuff though. Like that's super super scary that you went through that. Obviously, you talk about it,
Yeah.
and everything else. Are you good though? Like seriously, I mean, I know you're
I'm
physically.
perfectly fine. There's parts of my face that are still numb, the entry wound. But you want
Mhm.
to know what's crazy? It never hurt it. I didn't even because when I got shot, I didn't know where I was shot at. I just knew it was in my face. I thought it went through my cheek because I just when I got hit, you feel this is what happens when you get shot. You feel pressure, you feel hot, and it's only for like 2 seconds. Pressure, very hot, and then nothing. So
Mm.
it was just blood in my mouth, and I was like, I thought I got shot in the mouth. So I took my tongue and ran it around the inside of my mouth to see if I still had all my teeth. And I
Mm.
did. So I'm like, okay, it's not in my mouth. So then I kept trying to figure out where it was. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just shot in the head. So I saw an ambulance. He was literally sitting right there. So I ran over to the ambulance. He was on break. He was eating some Subway. I'm not making this up. He was eating some
Damn.
Subway. I ran over to him. I told him, like, I think I'm shot in the head. So then he, called the police. He called other
Hmm.
ambulances and things like that. And they put me in the ambulance. And they told me to look left. And they told me to look right. And when I looked right, a bunch of blood started shooting out of
Oh
my
no.
the
Mm.
corner of my eye. So that's how because they couldn't figure out where I was shot at.
My God.
Yeah.
That's some scary stuff, man. I'm happy you're able to. I'm happy you're here, period, and able to live through that. People are so stupid. You're right. You can't even argue people 2024,
No.
25. People don't. They do too much. It's way too much. Um, there was somebody that I wanted to talk about. He one of my. Well, he's a very smart comedian, but I always say his name wrong. He recently spoke. I didn't even realize that he had a beef with Cat Williams. Uh, he said that he lied on him. And the question that was actually asked of him was, will y'all ever make up? It's Ali Sadiq. I don't know. I hate to say his name wrong. I love his comedian style. He's
Yeah,
very smart
yeah.
as well.
He's a very,
Okay.
very, very talented
Intelligent.
comedian. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Recently he did an interview when he spoke about this. I didn't realize that he really had a really big, beef with Cat Williams. He said that people act like they're gangsters because they're on the microphone, but I'm a real gangster. If I get into it physically, I'm walking away. So I'm just like, whoa, what I'm saying? And he was just keeping it real. He was like all rah rah. He said a pretty chill, smooth. He just said, I really don't have nothing for him. I'll have a conversation, but this man lied to me in public and then apologized behind the scenes. I was like, oh, now that
Mm.
makes sense. As a man, as a comedian, how do you feel about that? You let someone lies on you in public, but then hit you behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Hey, man, my bad. You know what I'm saying? But in public,
Yeah.
it's still out there.
Yeah, if you dog me publicly, I would like for you to apologize publicly. I mean, I will accept the
Mhm.
apology, but I will still I would expect for you to do it publicly also, just to stop the headlines or the chatter behind that. Because I think they had a money dispute, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? I think it was a dispute over uh payment or something like that, or
Something like that.
yeah,
Hmm.
something to do with a show, or maybe it was like the lineup in the show or something. I'm not too familiar with that
Me
story, but I
either.
did hear about it.
Yeah. So with all the stuff going on in the comedy world, and the like I said, there's still people who are beefing, and we just don't hear about it. I just know that's going on. Um, What are your thoughts about that? Just being honest, as far as not taking it to a point of physical, because like I know
Yeah,
that you heard about the whole thing with the Corey and the whole thing at the
yeah,
comedy club. Now
yeah,
that's been a big talk for about maybe 3 weeks now, and we're waiting for
yep,
a video to see that. Did you?
yeah.
What did? I don't know if you were there or not. People talking about they were there. A lot of people,
No, no, no,
comedians said, okay, okay. So what
no,
are
no,
your
no.
thoughts about that? 'Cause
I've
it's
been
like
in Chicago.
okay, okay. Well, he's from Chicago too, but it's a
Yeah,
lot of stuff going on with that whole situation. You that comedy club and that same comedian he was speaking about this whole time. We all know who she is.
yeah.
She is coming for him now, like for real, for real. What do
I
you?
mean,
That's
I
crazy.
can't picture him reaching through. She said that he reached through like two people to slap her or something. I can't
That's
I
crazy.
can't imagine him doing knowing him being because he's a very smart guy. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's aware of what comes behind that. I can't imagine him doing that in the age of cell phone cameras. Doing that, I would really like to see that proof. I would like to see that proof that he actually did something like that. I don't believe it personally.
I don't believe it either.
That's
But does
because
that? But do you think it
that's
happens?
outrageous.
But does it happen though? Not saying separate
Yeah,
from
yeah,
him,
yeah,
where people
yeah,
outside the
yeah,
comedy
yeah.
club that got into it and got physical.
Yeah, I mean, you saw this was a few years ago when Corey took his shirt off and jumped into a crowd or something like that
Yes,
with a
yes.
fight. That was funny. So I mean, he would do some shit like that, you know what I mean? But as far as assaulting a woman, I don't see that. I don't see him doing that.
I don't either. I think it's kind of crazy, but I mean, again, I wasn't there, but it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because it's
Have you
out there and
seen
everybody's talking about.
Michelle Buteau's? What's her name? Michelle Buteau.
I
Netflix
love
comedy
her.
special.
I have not seen her new special yet. I know it just I keep getting it's on my list, but I haven't watched it yet. She's one of my favorite comedians as well. What are you gonna say about her?
What I want to say about that, this being one of your favorite comedians, have you heard what she said about Dave Chappelle on her recent special? I haven't watched the special, but I've been seeing clips.
No. Oh my God, I have not. No, I gotta watch it. Like you said that.
You got to
Damn.
watch it now. You know, it's causing
Oh
a little
God.
controversy. She
Is
said
it?
that he's not funny, and she was
No, she
talking
didn't.
about yes, and she was talking about